we read that the house of Judah and the house of Israel are split. We get 2 tribes going to the house of Judah and 10 tribes to the house of Israel. And we'll have a look at this in detail now. Now, most people should be familiar with King David and King Solomon. King David is triumphant over all his enemies, and his son Solomon builds the temple. Unfortunately, Solomon tends to tax the people too much, and this causes a great deal of troubles. And Solomon takes an Ephraimite from the house of Joseph to look after things. It says in 1 Kings 11:28, "And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor, and Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him, and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, Take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give thee 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have 1 tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel." So we have now the split of Israel being prophesied, and Solomon's lieutenant, if you like, from Joseph, that has charge of all the house of Joseph, all the 10 tribes, including Ephraim and Manasseh. He is now going to have control of all of that kingdom when it splits. So the house of Israel here has 10 tribes. They're located in the north, and they're called the house of Israel, and they're headed by Ephraim. And in the south we have the house of Judah, and there are 2 tribes there, but they're headed by Judah, and it also contains the tribe of Benjamin. And the Apostle Paul, by the way, was a Jew from the tribe of Benjamin, as was Mordecai and Esther in the book of Esther. So Judah becomes the tribe that rules the house of Judah, and they become known as the Jews. That's where the term Jew comes from, Yehudi, Yehudim, the Jews. So they're from these 2 tribes. And there's some of the Levites and Cohens mixed up amongst them as well. And over here we have the house of Israel. Now we come to the actual time where these prophecies are fulfilled in 1 Kings chapter 12. We read, "And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass, when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous yoke of thy father, and his heavy yoke which he put on us lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, and then come again to me. And the people departed." By the way, it's interesting that it mentions 3 days. No detail in Scripture is there without reason. It says in Psalm 90, verse 4, "For 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night." And 2 Peter 3:8 says, "But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day." So it could well be that these 3 days are prophetic of 3,000 years, because from this moment on, the 10 tribes have been split from the 2 tribes of Judah and Benjamin. So these 3 days could be indeed prophetic of 3,000 years. And we're just about come to the end of those 3,000 years, so we're going to have a rejoining of the house of Israel and Judah. In verse 6 we read on, And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then will be that they will be thy servants forever. By the way, this is true biblical leadership should be servant leadership. Unfortunately, he didn't listen to the counsel of the wise Jewish elders, and he listened to the young Jewish men. But he forsook the counsel of the old men which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou say unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Well, that didn't go down too well. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king had appointed, saying, Come to me again the 3rd day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, but for the cause was from the Lord, from Yahweh, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So here we have this division being caused by the foolishness of King Rehoboam listening to the young men's counsel instead of the wise old men. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel! Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. So Rehoboam is a Jewish king. So therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. And it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. So here we have the sad splitting of Israel into 2 parts, the house of Israel and the house of Judah. And so it's very important when you read prophecy in the Old Testament and in the New. When it says house of Israel, understand the context. Is he talking about before the actual split or afterwards? And in most cases, the house of Israel refers to the 10 tribes, and the house of Judah always refers to those 2 tribes, Judah and Benjamin, and some of the Levites, which became known as the Jews. So in verse 21, and when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, and 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. Ooh, this is getting serious. But the word of God came unto Shemaiah this man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore to the word of the Lord, and returned to depart according to the word of the Lord. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Penuel. Now, this is okay. Everything's, even though this is a very sad event, and it is a very sad event, he hasn't done anything wrong, actually, yet. But, from verse 26, this is really what screws up the northern tribes. And Jeroboam said in his heart, Now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam king of Judah, and they shall kill me, and go again to Rehoboam king of Judah. This man is thinking naturally. He's not thinking spiritually as a spiritual man. He's not trusting in Yahweh. He's not trusting in the word of the prophet. He's now going to do something very, very bad. Verse 28, Whereupon the king took counsel, and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethel, and the other put he in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one even unto Dan. So we've now got idolatry introduced right from the get-go. As soon as Ephraim gets independence, instead of listening to the law and doing what the Torah says, he's making his own religion. And verse 31, And he made an house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not the sons of Levi. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah. So, this is like Christianity. Christianity has done exactly this. It has got rid of the feasts that Yahweh has commanded in the Torah. Now we don't have a temple to offer sacrifices, but those feast days actually speak of the Messiah in his first and second advent. So why did we get rid of the feasts and replace them with Lent and all these paganized, Christianized pagan feasts? We're doing the exact same thing as the house of Israel did in the past. And there's a big clue there that much of the church is run by the same Ephraimites, and the same idolatry that is in the house of Israel back then is in the church now. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month, on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah, and he offered upon the altar. So did he in Bethel, sacrificing unto the calves that he had made, and he placed in Bethel the priests of the high places which he had made. Remember the golden calf in Egypt? They should have learnt a thing or two. No, they haven't learnt anything at all. So he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethel the 15th day of the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart, and ordained a feast unto the children of Israel, and he offered upon the altar and burnt incense. Very sad. So now we have the kingdom divided. We have the house of Judah, 2 tribes, and the house of Israel, 10 tribes. And King Jeroboam has introduced idolatry into the house of Israel, because he's afraid that they'll go to Jerusalem and worship, and then they'll get all palsy-walsy with the Jews, and then they will ditch him and join up with the Jews again, and he'll lose his kingship. So, this is what has happened. Very sad.